All right, guys, Nick Drossos, and welcome to another Q&A. So I got a question, Nick. Do pressure points work in a street fight? Now, I'm actually going to make a video showing the different pressure points, but first I want to talk a little bit about the pressure points and why they work and they don't work, and which are the ones that work and which are the ones that don't. But before we start, guys, I'm going to ask you to go visit my website, nickdrossos.com. We just launched our membership site. It's only $10 a month with exclusive brand new content. Right now I have up there my kids and anti-bullying self-defense program, brand new fight analysis, access to Get Fit with Nick 20-minute fitness videos, combat conditioning, access to my seminars for only $10 a month, as well as I have my level 1 instructor course, April 11 and 12. There's only 3 spaces left. So go check that out at nickdrossos.com. Now, answer your question. Do pressure points work in a street fight? Now, the problem with a lot of the pressure points is that in order for them to work, first you got to hit specific targets. You know, when you're telling me hit underneath the arm, find the nerve under here, strike directly under the rib, or, you know, hit exactly the temple. All these take a lot of clarity in the moment, a lot of training, a lot of, I'll compare it to precision shooting. So it takes a fine motor skill to find that target. Now, most of what I teach and what happens in a high stress situation, a lot of these fine motor skills just drop. And the gross motor skills end up working best. So one of the things I do is I keep the shit simple. That means if I'm palm striking, I'm aiming for the head. If I'm elbowing, whether I strike the neck, the jaw, the head, the back of the head, I'm doing damage. So that's the difference between striking using fine motor skills and gross motor skills. Now, when it comes to pressure points, it takes, like I said, it takes a precise attack to a precise and specific point. What happens in a high stress situation, and when you're in a fight full out, and I've been there working in the clubs, and your mind shuts down, you go into automatic pilot, and the shit just starts happening, and you only have seconds. A lot of times finding those specific targets become very hard because you don't see them, you don't find them, and you go into automatic pilot, and you're just thinking survival kicks in. Personally, I haven't used any of those fine motor skills, and this is why when I teach people, I always tell them it's about learning less and training more, keeping it as simple as possible. It's about training the same thing over and over instead of always trying to learn something new, and train to see what works best. And always, like, you know, when I go back to my experience in working in the clubs, I always went back to the same strikes. Even though I trained many of them, I over my years of training, I said, what did I always come back to? And this is what is my source of teaching, my system. So the only pressure points I've ever used, and I'm going to show it on another video, probably the next one, is, you know, when you cross the jaw over here, I've used that one many times, because what happens is when I would go from behind, or if I would strike and I would get chest to back and I would try to go for the choke, the person would just put his chin down. Now, I didn't have the time to sit there and grapple him. So one time as I'm doing this, I'm trying to put on the choke. I said, fuck it. All I did was grab, clinch, snap the neck this way, and I had full control. So that's the only one I can say I've used. Now, in theory, when you're training with your partner, and I've heard, well, you know, see, pinch him over here, you know, rub, you know, go into the ribs this way, you know, spit in his face, grab his ear and twist it. All those are fine motor skills. Are like, they're again, I'm only talking through experience, and I've trained it. So if I've spent years training it and I've never used it, doesn't mean it's never going to work. But I'm going to train it, but I'm going to train more what I know is most effective. So a lot of times when I train that cross face, what I do is I'll train with with my partner, and I'll be like, okay, don't let me put this on, and I'll just find ways to find a way to cross into the face and the neck and just play with that area, because wherever the head goes, the body follows. And I've noticed that that was probably one of my favorite pressure points. Now, another one that I'm starting to play with is the one striking into the throat, that every time I clinch, all I do is grab the thumb and I jam it in. I find that one to be very, very effective through training. Now, the reality, I've never used it in real life, so I can't say, but I have pressure tested it, and I've trained it with people who have never experienced it, or people who've trained who've never seen it or had it done to them. And what I'll do, and maybe if you're watching this video, when you pressure test stuff, don't tell the person you're training with, by the way, I want to try a new move, or by the way, can I try this on you? As you're doing it, as you're training, tell yourself, I'm going to pressure test this and see if it works, and see his reaction. So that's the second one that I've used. Again, in training, yeah, I've done the whole rib thing and like pinching, and yeah, I've got a little bit of a flinch response, but in a real life, full out confrontations that, again, I've experienced, not in training, through working in clubs many years. And when you go boom into tunnel vision, survival kicks in, gross motor skills, the fine motor skills are out the window. I always referred and went back to the same and simplest, 5 to 7 strikes. And those are the ones I focus the most on training. So what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna make another video, and I'm gonna go through all the pressure points that I've used in the street, right? The ones that I believe are best in the street are the ones that I've used. And then I'll show you a few others that could work in training. You can train them, you could explore them, you can put them in your toolbox, and if you use them, you use them, but I wouldn't put so much training and thought into them. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, most of my new content is on my website, nickdrossos.com. Brand new fight analysis, access to my seminars, my webinars, combat conditioning, my self-defense, anti-bullying kids program, both for kids and teenagers. So go check that out at nickdrossos.com. I want to thank you guys for watching. Stay safe and stand strong.